shouldn't let that slam like that.
Yeah, we won't tell Joe.
Welcome back to another one. It's March 7th right now. We are still in Ohio, but it's time to head west. Me, Garrett, and Jake heading on a little trip, and we're killing. That's it, period. So geese conservation, and we're packing up right now. We got about 30 more minutes of stuff to do, and we're gonna be on the road. So stay tuned, join along.
Well, welcome back to another one. As you can see, we've got a little studio now. Just a nice little area here with a cool backdrop. We're going to be tying some flies, doing some talks, sharing information. So I'm excited for that. Stay tuned. But today we're going to talk about a little bit about recent snow goose hunting trip. Right now it's the end of March, and a couple weeks ago went up to South Dakota to chase some snow geese. Learned a lot. And I'm going to share some of the information I learned with you today. So we had timed it up pretty good to go on this trip. So I'm a college student, I'm in spring break. But we had timed it up good. The geese were there, and snow goose hunting's a new game for me. Something I just got into. But you see all the videos, people killing hundreds of them, you know, tens of thousands in the air, piling up 200-300 birds. But that's where I'm gonna go into number one of things that I learned that I wish I would have known before then, and that's gonna be expectations. So obviously I had my expectations set real high for this trip. Wish I wouldn't have, because I did not realize how difficult these birds were to hunt. They're some of the most difficult birds I've ever hunted in general for anything. And so we got into South Dakota. We spent about five days there maybe, and chased these birds. But we got there and we instantly started seeing geese. We just hit a warm front, so we knew birds were just gonna start showing up. The lakes were starting to thaw out a little bit, and as soon as we found open water anywhere, we were finding geese. We'd seen, thousands upon thousands of them. But as I really started to learn and watch the geese behavior a little bit, it was pretty crazy, because you'd have a 200-acre cornfield. You'd watch 10, 20, 30, 40, even 50,000 snow geese land up in this field, and they're so sporadic and aggressive in their feeding. When you watch it, all these birds will land in this field, and they're just jumping over each other, just trying to get to the new ground, and they'll pick a whole field clean and move from one end to another in 20 minutes. And then we'd watch this, we'd be excited, man, this is something we want to try and hunt. Well, we'd continue to watch these birds, and then they'd get up, and then they would fly north, and we would try to follow them, and then they would just fly until, we couldn't follow them anymore. Just so sporadic in their movement.
They're all feeding now.
There's that song, Jake. Remember me saying that?
Well, we found a couple there. How many do you think there are there? I mean, that's a tornado. That's got to be. I want to say that's got to be 100,000.
Oh
But
man, it's gotta be.
The guy that owns the land lives right over there, so we're gonna ask him and see what happens from there. Might try to do a little jump shoot, and then set up. We'll see. Let's do it.
These geese, they nest up in the Arctic Circle, up in northern Canada, as well as Alaska, even over into Russia. But these birds, so they summer up there, and then they start their southward migration in probably about September, even early August or late August even, and it takes them about 6 months to move all the way down into southern U.S. And then as soon as about January, into January, early February, they're starting their northward migration. So you got anywhere from 5 to 6 months of these birds moving south. But when it's time, like it is in February and March, as soon as the weather breaks and these geese can push north, I mean, they're covering ground. They're going to try to get back to their nesting grounds within a month or two. So they are moving and they're aggressive and they're feeding. They get to one area and they don't stay long. Especially, that's what we saw a lot. I mean, we saw so many, hundreds of thousands of snow geese. And that was a big learning curve for me. Next off, we're going to talk a little bit about the hunting. So we ended up hunting, I think, 3 or 4 days solid. We had set up in 2 fields, basically just running traffic. We knew a lot of birds were in the area. We had some open water nearby, so we knew birds were going to be there.
Here's what's going on. We finally got the A-frame set up, all brushed in. It's got all 400 decoys out, 2 e-collars. And as soon as we finish brushing in the blind, we got a bunch show up. Oh, we got.
The hunt was slow though. We managed to pick off 1 or 2 every day, it seemed, but it was real slow and it was tough. And those birds are so smart. They travel in such big groups that you really need a lot of decoys. We were running about a little over 400 decoys, and a lot. I mean, 90% of the geese wouldn't even bat an eye at us. It just goes to show you, because I mean, you'll watch 10,000 in a field, and then that's where all the birds are going. I mean, it's so hard to compete with 10,000 decoys, especially when they're in such big groups. It's so hard to decoy those big groups. But
well, that's the first snow geese of the trip in juvenile robins. Beautiful birds, they're tiny, not much bigger in the mouth. First one, beauty. Any words, Garrett?
We chopped him. We chopped one. We're on the board.
Give us a quick description. What happened?
We were watching thousands of birds out that way, just flying, just watching them. We didn't have the e-collar on. I'm like, hey, turn that on. Nick turned the e-collar on, and those birds just snapped right around. We had, I don't know, 50 or 60 or so come right over us. Got one of them somehow, but
Way up there.
Let's go.
so when we first got there, we had a lot of adult birds around, and then the next couple days, we started seeing some more juvies show up. So the juvies, the juvenile birds, the first year, the first that just hatched last spring, they're not as smart as the adults. Some of those adults are just so smart. They've seen, hundreds of spreads on their migrations. Year after year, they've seen multiple spreads. But we started to have some juvies show up later in the week, but mostly adults were around, which made it even tougher to hunt these birds.
All right, boys, don't move. We might shoot here. Oh, there's a bunch of snow. Jake, you got your gun? All right, let's shoot them. Oh, we got one. Jake, shoot that. Oh, I damn it. Oh. Let's go. Let's go.
I didn't even have my gun in my hand at first.
I got a bunch right here, Jake. Come over here.
Yeah.
It was pretty difficult. There's just, you would think with so many birds that they would be easier to hunt. But I think it's honestly, it hurt us a little more not being able to decoy these birds just because they were in such large groups. We didn't have any small groups per se. I mean, we had a couple of groups come into our decoys, give us looks, and we killed a couple, but just super difficult. So towards the end of the trip, we were like, let's do some jump shooting. And that was also another challenge, another learning curve for us as well. So the jump shooting was pretty fun, trying to get up close to them on a pond or something. Just if we found open water anywhere near us, it was going to be holding snow geese. That's pretty much how it was, but a lot of specks mixed in and a lot of ducks. That's what we had to be careful with. That's another thing that makes it difficult, because obviously you don't want to kill any specks or ducks out of season. But we ended up getting a couple off a jump shoot. Just be careful picking your shots and that. But it's pretty interesting. But we ended up getting, I think we hunted for 4 or 5 days and ended up killing maybe, I think 7 or 8. Picked off 1 or 2 a day, but hopefully you can learn something from our experience doing this. And driving up there, we went up there and we stayed in our enclosed trailer with all their decoys, just slapping there, just roughing it.
Well, here's the setup, folks. Sleeping in a little enclosed trailer here. Buddy heater rolling. Don't worry, we have an O2 detector and ventilation. Jake's hammock, 2 cots. The wind is howling.
How much dust did I just set up?
Do it again. Not much, really. We got a good spot for the morning, we think. At least in the afternoon. Bad wind, northeast wind tonight and in the morning, but like noon, it's supposed to switch to southeast, so hopefully some birds start moving around. Stay tuned. See you in the morning. All right, we just been set out for about 45 minutes. Birds started flying, we started seeing some, and we dropped a real nice snow goose here. Beautiful Ross. Freaking awesome bird. Let's go.
It's just a regular snow then.
That's a Ross.
Is it?
Yeah, see how short its bill is?
Okay. Yes. Wow. It's still pretty warty.
Fire. Let's go, first one here.
It was definitely a great experience. Snow goose hunting is definitely expensive, and even with 400 decoys, you know, spent thousands of dollars on all these decoys, and most of these geese don't even bat an eye at you. It can be very frustrating, but you know, I know it can be rewarding. You know, you just got to get lucky and you should do your homework. But hopefully, I'm gonna be chasing some more geese here, some more snow geese. Gotta get a good hunt in the next couple of years. It's gonna happen. But I'm really glad we went on this trip. Learned a lot. Ended up bagging some geese, so can't complain at all about that. But the thing I want to talk about is South Dakota people are fantastic. You know, we didn't really have any problem getting on permission. So for those of you that don't know, South Dakota is just a lot of fields, a lot of ag fields, that is, and a lot of the people that own these properties are not around. So that made it kind of tough to get permission. But we ended up, the people that lived on the properties we were asking at, I mean, we went 2 for 2, so it was great. They were nice. Just remember to be really courteous, you know, respect the people's land, leave it the way you found it, even better, even pick up some trash, but don't be leaving empty hauls around, trash, anything like that, you know, respect it. So the next person down the line, it doesn't get ruined for them, because, you know, it doesn't take much for you to make a landowner mad, you know, leave some trash, leave some ruts, stuff like that. Always communicate as well. Just be really communicative with these landowners that let us hunt. And yeah, but South Dakota people were great. They were super nice, and we ended up getting a couple geese. Can't complain at all. But I hope you guys learned from this. I hope you learned from my mistakes, my try and error here, and I appreciate you watching this video. But more's coming at you here in the room, and hoping to get on some fish here soon. Stay tuned. Catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.